How's it going today? So we've got Will Yummy here of All Fuels Automotive. You can find him on YouTube. We'll link him below. He's going to come and answer some questions along with us today, Cora. First question of the day is, seriously, why do liberals think Trump supporters are stupid?
I think a lot of times it comes from, like, you've ever argued with them online or talked to them in your real life, you'll see that they'll reject any kind of information. Like, one of the great examples, like, you can tell them, hey, Trump said this thing in a speech and it's awful, and you go to show them the speech and they will say no. And there's that sort of unwise people will reject anything that is counter to what they believe, because it's almost like a defense mechanism, because then you protect your indoctrination.
That's true. Very true. Well, let's see what the relevant comments are, or the relevant answers to this question are. So Wombat here says, I'm a moderate Eisenhower type Republican, so considered liberal by some of the MAGA crowd. But I'll answer from my perspective. I think most Trump supporters are stupid, or more charitably limited in perspective, easily manipulated and emotionally fragile, because objectively they are. To be fair, lots of people are limited in perspective and easily manipulated. So those frailties aren't unique to Trump supporters, but it's nearly universal in them. They are quick to pick up almost any of the most bizarre conspiracies without any supporting evidence or coherent explanation. They are frequently unaware of what the U.S. Constitution is, what it says, and why it was written the way that it was. They are willing to accept any claims by Trump without any verifiable evidence, just like you said. And the whole rally, red hat, chanting phenomenon is bizarre and, quite frankly, frightening. It seems more in line with K-pop fans or Scientology more than political participation. It does. It's like a fandom, a cult.
Yeah. I've never seen this before in any other politician. I've never even heard of this, where they become like, like this is their whole identity.
Right.
You know?
So continuing on, he says, a few examples of limited education and poor language skills, the inability to understand the meaning of words like tariffs, skeptic, due process, and etc. is telling. They don't or won't take any effort to learn the most basic of terms and concepts of civil life. Make it clear that many, most, or all are indeed stupid, or in the very least of limited ability.
So America,
I feel like there is a commitment to the ignorance. You know, like there is a shunning, a intense shunning of facts.
So America already has like an education problem.
True.
We have a staggering amount of people not get through high school, right? And those people all do grow up to form their own opinions and become voters.
Sadly.
So, you know, they got to go somewhere.
Do you want to read Rogers?
Yeah. Rogers says he's been accused of sexually assaulting over 28 women, and you guys still voted for him. He was accused of raping 2 girls when they were under the age of 14, and you guys still voted for him. He was found guilty of assaulting E. Jean Carroll, and you guys still voted for him. He made fun of a disabled man, you guys voted for him. He was convicted of 34 felonies, you guys voted for him. He cheated on every wife he ever had, and you still voted for him. He has to wear an adult diaper, and he's old, and you guys still voted for him. He spews hate and disgust in every possible direction on a daily basis, and you guys still vote for him. He's proven racist and bigot. He lies about being a Christian. In his first term, he caused the deaths of over 500,000 Americans because he failed to believe and react to COVID-19. He separated children from their parents and placed in cages, and you guys still voted for him. He says he's just like you and is one of you, even though he has a solid gold toilet, and you still believe him. He lies over 85% of the time, and you hang on every word he believes.
And believe every word.
Yeah, he believes he has the divine right to sexually assault and rape women, believes he's famous and wealthy, and you idiots still voted for him. He's a shit person, dodged the draft, insulted the military, insults the people of his country, deports American citizens, and you still vote for him. And goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
I think the main point is it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You've heard me say this. I think he could kick a baby while he's on stage, and the crowd, his people, would blame the baby.
Right. His comments go on and say, if all of that and much, much more isn't stupidity, then I don't know what is. Oh, yeah. And then there's the 2 fake assassination attempts he orchestrated just to get your votes. How do I know they were fake? Easy. Just look at his ear. He was supposedly shot in the ear by a rifle. And does he have a scar? Does it look like he's been cut by a shard of glass or even a bullet? Nothing. You can barely see anything. The shard of glass that cut or nicked his ear was from one of the teleprompters that was shot. The bullet didn't even get close to him. And you never hear anything about where on the NEWS news. So even they know it was a fake assassination attempt. We don't think you guys are stupid. We know you guys are stupid.
Yeah, it's that stupidity. It's like how Trump himself said that he loves the uneducated.
He did. He said, I love the uneducated. Yep. I love them.
Yeah, smart people don't like me, he said. Exactly. And so it's true. You
only a total dimwit would think, oh, yep, I just love it that the dumb people like me. So Kelly wants us to know, she says, here's one reason why they come off as downright clueless. Just last week, they slammed the No Kings protest as unpatriotic and anti-military, completely missing that the date was chosen because Trump threw himself a self-serving birthday bash disguised as the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. That day marks when colonists stood up against a tyrant king and formed an army. The irony just went right over their MAGA hats. Meanwhile, Trump jokes about suspending elections and crowning himself a king, and his supporters cheer him on. He signs executive orders like a monarch, ignoring Congress, and his base just laughs and applauds. Every day brings another reason. Why would you like us to keep sharing them? All right, since you asked, in his 2019 4th of July Salute to America speech, Trump proudly made a historic blunder so glaring and so stupid, yet the stupidity flew right over MAGA's red caps, and they cheered him on without question. He proudly claimed that the Continental Army took over the airports during the Revolutionary War, saying that our army manned the air, it rammed the ramparts, and it took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. Meanwhile, the MAGA crowd was just too busy cheering to realize that airports and airplanes didn't even exist back then. The Wright brothers didn't fly until 1903, more than a century later. Being dumb and beyond stupid. Exactly. He can say things that are just so glaringly idiotic and incorrect and so outside of the realm of like possibility or factuality. And rather than fact checking him in any way or questioning whether or not that sounds right, they're just like, yay, yay, he's brilliant.
I probably should look this up before I say it, but there was a politician, I almost want to say it was Bob Dole, but there was a politician in that era who misspelled the word potato.
Yeah.
And they would never let him live it down the rest of his...
But Kofafifi.
Yeah.
Kofafifi.
Yeah. Not being able to pronounce acetaminophen. And you're like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Our health secretary, our what's his name? Kennedy or whatever. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He can't even pronounce the medication that he's supposedly like all up in arms against. Do you want to read this one from Chris?
Yes. Christopher says, you want an example from current events? Here's one. Let's see. The Schumer shutdown. That's not what it is. The shutdown is 100% the result of the Republican Party, and here's exactly why. In ancient past, the Republicans ran out of money. They needed to pass CR to keep their government open. So they approached the Dems and said, hey, Dems, if you guys help us out on the CR, we'll negotiate with you those ACA subsidies in the big, beautiful bill. And the Dems said, okay, and helped pass the CR. Then the R's said, ha, 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 stupid libtards. We don't need you. We will pass the BBB via a reconciliation, so we only need 51 votes. We can't do it without you.
We can do it.
F the promise we made. And the R's proceeded to pass the BBB via reconciliation. then only get one of those per year. That's important in a minute. Fast forward to today, the R's are out of the money again. So they approached the Dems and said, hey, Dems, we'll totally negotiate with you
regarding those
ACA subsidies if you help us pass the CR. Yeah, we know we lied to your faces last time about this. Same thing. But this time, we really bigly mean it. You can totes trust us. And the D's said, yeah, no. The words of a famous R president, fool me once, shame on you. Shame on you, fool me twice. I can't get fooled again. That's a great quote. But Massa Daddy, you and the shutdown was the fault of the Democrats, and like the dumbasses you are, you believed it. Didn't even question it. Conveniently forgot recent history. Didn't even bother to check because that's just who you are. Yeah, that's actually another great example of why we think of the Red Hats as stupid, because they will never check anything. They will never Google. They will never, double check what they're about to say. And even when you point it out to them, they will just dig in their heels and just no, what you said was wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Kevin says short version because Trump is stupid and gives long off the cuff speeches. Magnets are not useless if they get wet. Electric batteries will not electrocute you. He cannot pronounce etc. Acetaminophen, Tylenol. He does not write. He can barely read and cannot remember any quotes from the Bible or even books published with his name on the cover. In addition to being illiterate, he also is innumerate. He does not understand what numbers mean. You cannot reduce prices by 500%. You cannot kill 20 million Americans with 18,000 pills of fentanyl, even if you put a dose of lethal to 14,000 people in one pill. Why would they share it? Then he takes every side of every argument except the ones that would help other people, sometimes in the matter of one sentence. If you have not realized that he is a narcissistic blowhard, then you are probably stupid.
Yeah. If you're not realizing that he is just babbling, and then,
I like this one is the actual Trump derangement syndrome. Duh, Trump said it, so I'll believe it.
They'll believe anything he says. I mean, when I saw how fast they turned from release the list to, the list doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the one issue where I was in agreement with them, was that they wanted the list released just as bad as we did, right? Yeah. And then as soon as Trump said, it's fake, I could not believe how many people they turned. How many people I would be talking to online who they just were like, why are you guys still bothered about this? It's and you're like,
why do children being abused bother you? Like this quote.
Yeah.
Re-electing Trump is like the Titanic backing up to hit the iceberg yet again.
Yes. Well said. But they voted for him again.
So Lyrese says, to be fair, it's not just liberals who think Trump supporters are stupid. I'm left-leaning, but in the center. Pretty far from liberal, but I see Trump supporters as beyond far right. They're literally becoming cultists. My reasons are simple. They believe anything Trump says. It's literally that simple. A man who has never been known as the brightest bulb in the batch. A man who has been known to lie, cheat, steal, and scam for decades. A man who was born with a silver spoon and has conned the working class for longer than he's supposedly been a Christian. A man who's been accused of all manner of allegations, been convicted time after time, has had to repay millions due to fraud again and again, etc. This is the guy that they support to champion the working class and drain the swamp. But what's worse isn't that he does these things. That's expected. What makes it so bad is that his supporters will defend everything he does, regardless of the amount of evidence, and anyone who disagrees with him is the enemy. That's textbook cultism. So I don't want to speak for libs, but it's not just the libs who think that Trump supporters are stupid. Pretty much anyone who isn't a Trump supporter. Hope this helps. I mean, it's good to know that it isn't just the far-leaning left that can see how dangerous and idiotic he is, that people on the right do. My question is, you're a center-leaning Republican. I take that to believe that she probably still voted for Trump.
I would imagine so, because what other choice did they have? Because they were
besides
all throwing
voting for like a
they were all throwing their lot in that way. And I think this just goes to show that the main reason that we think you're stupid, the Trump supporters are stupid, is because you keep voting for this. But the reason they keep voting for this is because it's in what they agree with, right? They like that
it's the same kind of hatred that they like,
right?
That they
like that he hates the people that they hate.
Yeah.
And he talks their talk. You and I have talked about this before, about how the language of our government is a little confusing, right? Like
he does dumb it down so that it is
and so like if you're listening to, you don't pay attention to this kind of stuff, and all of a sudden you listen to like the inaugural speech of a president, sometimes you're like, what the hell do all these words mean? Like what the heck is a filibuster, and what is and all this stuff, all this political lingo. But when he talks their language. You don't have to know what stuff. You don't have to. You just, I don't like the people you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. So we got another relevant comment here, or response. Mike says, I talk to them. I listen. I kid you not, they are currently believing that having a benevolent dictator would be awesome. This is 100% totally un-American. In doing so, they just put down my military service, my state service, and essentially everything I've ever done. It tosses into the trash the hopes and dreams of entire generations of patriots. It trashes the very real sacrifices that every single veteran, even Confederates, even Joseph McCarthy, even the American Communist Movement was even less stupid than this. And as 10,000 years of history will eloquently attest, benevolent and dictator are contradictions in terms and do not belong together in the same sentence. Rude. Desiring a benevolent dictator is stupid, not just a little stupid either. It's crazy stupid. I marvel that they can dress themselves.
Now, the reason it's stupid, the reason this happens, is because the
stupidity in thinking that a dictator could ever be benevolent.
But they don't understand what dictator means. They don't understand
what benevolent.
They don't know what communism is. They don't know what socialism is. Right. They don't know what democracy is. So to them, that's just big words, right? Yeah. But Trump said he'd be a dictator, and so okay, they love that about him, because to them the only thing that means is just that Trump is in charge. That's the only. They just part
understand the words dick and tater, and they like both of them things. I like dicks and I like taters, so I'm gonna like me a dictator.
Yep, yeah, but you're not far off. These people don't understand what these words mean, and that's why they can easily just follow along in something like this.
Yes.
We scroll up to that. It says Trump. These files were made up. Comey. They were made up by Obama.
They were made up by Biden. So Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and Epstein went to prison for child prostitution during Trump's first presidency for a made-up hoax by Obama, Comey, and Biden. Anyone dumb enough to believe this garbage?
But that's exactly why, because they will believe it. It's what, but you got to think, like, these are already the people who will believe in crazy conspiracy theories and pyramid schemes and, mega churches. And so they're already the people who are primed to believe in somebody like Donald Trump.
Okay, maybe we'll read this last one here. Jeremy says, it's not liberals, it's everyone. Everyone on earth is looking at you folks, shaking their heads in disbelief that anyone can gobble up these lies. You have the head of health talking about Tylenol being the effing cause of autism, despite being invented decades after autism was first diagnosed. You have a president going live on television to brag about lowering drug prices by 200 and 400%, sometimes even 1,000% in some cases, while his advisors nod along to him, going, yes, Mr. President, 1,000% in some cases, as if that was actually making mathematical sense. These are people that you elected and you continue to choose to support despite the overwhelming evidence against all of it. Hanlon's razor says, do not attribute to malice that which you can attribute to ignorance. As such, I'm working under the assumption that you are not just deeply stupid and not deeply malice or malicious, and so are lots of other people, just because it means assuming that you're not a degenerate, awful human being. So which would you prefer? Right. It's like, I'm going to assume that you're stupid because it's better than assuming that you are malicious and hateful. Me assuming you are stupid is actually giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I am actually giving you the benefit of the doubt and doing you a service, a grace. I am ingratiating you by thinking that you're stupid. Because otherwise, the alternative is that you are malicious, hateful, and evil.
Yeah, I think that about covers it, because it's really, we've got two choices here. You're just an idiot who believes some culty leader, or you're just an evil person who is behind this because you want to hurt people.
And on that note, have the day you deserve.
Remember to comment, like, and subscribe if you ever want to see me again. And as always, have the day you deserve and the rights you voted for all of us to have.